Wow!
When you think of great fictional detectives of our time, only a few names come to mind. And one of them is Jessica Fletcher. Yes, the retired English teacher turned amateur mystery writer deserves to be remembered right up there with Sherlock Holmes. For 12 seasons, Angela Lansbury brought the character to life in the fictional town of Cabot Cove, solving some serious crime while penning mystery stories and riding her bike in her spare time. At a time when red shows like Miami Vice and Magnum P.I. ruled the ratings, Murder, She Wrote held its own, becoming one of the most important shows of the 1980s and 90s. And here are a few things you might not know about the show that defied expectations. Angela Lansbury was pissed off at the TV roles being offered to her before Murder. After years of high-profile parts and critical acclaim in the theatre, Angela Lansbury was in her late 50s and ready to tackle a steady television role. Unfortunately, instead of being flooded with interesting lead roles on big series, she said she was constantly looked at to play the maid or the housekeeper in some ensemble piece, leaving her to get, in the dame's own words, really pissed off. After voicing her displeasure, she was soon approached with two potential solo series, one being Murder, She Wrote, which grabbed her attention because of its focus on a normal country woman becoming an amateur detective. After meeting with the producers and writers, it was only a matter of time before Lansbury agreed to the role and began the 12-season run. The show took a shot at Friends in its final season. In 1995, CBS made a bold move. After airing on Sundays since 1984, Murder, She Wrote moved to Thursdays at 8 p.m. for its 12th and final season, going head-to-head against Mad About You and Friends over at NBC. On a night dominated by younger viewers, Lansbury was at a loss. "I'm shattered," she told the Los Angeles Times. "What can I say? I really feel very emotional about it. I just felt so disappointed that after all the years we had Sunday night at 8, suddenly it didn't mean anything. It was like Gone with the Wind." Maybe not so coincidentally, during that last season of the series, there was an episode titled Murder Among Friends, where a TV producer is killed in her office after planning to get rid of a member of the cast of a fictional television show called Butts. Complete with its coffee shop setting and snarky repartee, Butts was not so subtle stab at Friends, coming at a time when Murder, She Wrote was placed right against the hit ratings juggernaut. Putting the murder mystery aside for a moment, Fletcher takes plenty of jabs at Butts throughout, literally rolling her eyes at the thought of 6 20-somethings becoming a hit, because they sat around talking about their sexuality in every episode. The writing was on the wall as Murder, She Wrote was being phased out by CBS by the end of 1996, but Lansbury made sure to go down swinging. Jessica Fletcher holds a Guinness World Record for most prolific amateur sleuth. Though Guinness recognizes that Agatha Christie's Miss Marple has been on and off screen longer, since 1956, Fletcher has actually gotten to the bottom of more cases with 264 episodes and 4 TV movies under her belt. The show's fictional town would have been the murder capital of the planet. Quiet, upper-class New England coastal towns aren't usually known for their murder count, but Cabot Cove, Maine, is a grisly destination indeed. In fact, if you look at the amount of murders per the population, it would have the highest rate on the planet according to BBC Radio 4. With 3,560 people living in the town and 5.3 murders occurring every year, that comes out to 1,490 murders per million, which is 60% higher than that of Honduras, which only recently lost its title as the murder capital of the world. It also estimated that in total, about 2% of the folks in Cabot Cove end up murdered. Some fans think Fletcher was a serial killer the whole time. That statistic leads us right into our next thought. Isn't it a little suspicious that Fletcher keeps stumbling upon all these murders? We know that Cabot Cove is a fairly sleepy town, but the murder rate rivals a Scorsese movie. And this one person, a suspicious novelist and amateur detective, always seems to get herself mixed up in the juiciest cases. Some people think there's something sinister about the wealth of cases Fletcher writes about in her books. It's because she's the one doing the killing all along. This theory has gained traction with fans over the years, and it helps explain the coincidental nature of the show. Murders aren't just exclusive to Fletcher and Cabot Cove. They follow her around when she's on book tours, on trips out of town, or while writing the script to a VR video game for a company whose owner just so happens to get killed while Fletcher's around. Could Jessica Fletcher have such an obsession with murder mysteries that she began to create her own? Was life in Cabot Cove too boring for a violent sociopath? Did she decide to take matters into her own hands after failing to think of original book ideas? We'll never know, but it puts the whole series into a very different light. And that's all for now. Don't forget to leave a like, subscribe and share this video with friends. Take care!